Alrighty, I am live on YouTube and Twitter. Let's just give this a retweet on my Twitter before I get into it. Whew, wow, what a game to start the Australian campaign. Absolute corker. I have to say it. A very unconvincing win for Australia to start things off. They almost bottled what should have been a very simple chase. If you're looking to feel at all confident about Australia's campaign, you cannot say that match has done anything for it. What with South Africa making 118 and Australia just limping over the line with two balls to spare, just a very a very disappointing performance, I guess, for Australia with the bat. Very good with the ball. They were exceptional in the field, and the three fast bowlers yeah, bowled very well, but that was just a performance that has not given me any confidence about the Australian campaign. The problems that Australia had going into the match haven't really been solved. When you look at Finch and Warner's failures and Maxwell and Finch's inability, Maxwell and Smith's inability to see Australia home, it was a very nervy chase, and it just shouldn't have been. It should have been a walk in the park for Australia, really, when you think about it. Yeah, 118 for 9 is just a poor performance by South Africa. And as I said, Australia just did not look convincing in the chase. Hopefully, they sort of get that sort of nervy performance out of the way and they go into bigger and better things. But if you're the other teams in the group, I think you'd still look at Australia and think, well, we can turn them over because they certainly have some flaws with the bat. They don't look quite balanced. And yeah, it's a strange chase. I don't think they were adventurous enough. I don't think they really took on the South African bowlers, and they almost played South Africa into the game. They should have really gone after the target and been more aggressive, even after the early wickets. But in the end, they got there. So credit to them. With Marcus Stoinis and Matthew Wade at the end, held their nerve when it looked like Bavuma's South Africa would steal a famous win. So yeah, it's Late Night Menace, the first reaction show to the World Cup. Going to try and do more of them. As you can see, I need to work on the setting. I'm in my laundry at the moment because I don't want to wake up anyone in the family. But yeah, it's not the prettiest backdrop. And also, I've had a long day. It was my son's 13th birthday today, so I've had like a whole stack of teenagers here all night. So going from that to then that tense run chase, it's just not been easy. And yeah, so I'm a bit ragged. Look, let's go through the performance, the whole game. I think you can take comments on this. So if you want to leave your comments, if you're watching on YouTube, I will take questions. I'm not sure if you can do that on Twitter, but definitely on YouTube you can. So if you want to go to the Cricket Unfiltered Podcast YouTube page, you can punch questions into the comments, and I'll talk about them. But let's start with the Australian team selection. So I guess the first is the good. I really liked them picking the three fast bowlers and just the one spinner. I just don't think Agar and Zampa are good enough. Really, I don't think both of them measure up against many of the other team spinners. So I don't think we should be playing both of them. I think our three quicks, Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark, and one spinner is the way to go. So that was a good selection. And then looking at your fifth bowling option of Maxwell, Mitch Marsh, and Stoinis is a good balance. So good tick to the selectors there. They went with Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark, and Zampa. I still would like to see Swepson during the tournament, but Zampa's been the frontline Aussie spinner. So, yep, they backed him. And then they, went for the batting order that we expected with Warner, Finch at the top. They didn't drop Warner. They didn't, fall prey to all the speculation. And then we had Mitch Marsh at 3, Smith at 4, Maxwell 5. Stoinis 6, Wade at 7. So they've gone for 7 sort of batters with the keeper and then 4 bowlers. And I actually think that's a good balance. I don't think Australia looks strong enough to I don't think Australia looks strong enough to carry 6 batters and 5 specialist bowlers. It just puts too much pressure on the top order. And we saw even in this game that, it was lucky we had the little general Matthew Wade down at number 7. Thanks, Jose, for leaving a question. I'll get to all the questions at the end, but Yeah, so good team selection, and then we just saw a, a fantastic bowling performance. I mean, it was just really everything that Australia dreamed of. Josh Hazlewood with two early, Glenn Maxwell taking the first wicket of Bavuma, opening the bowling, mirroring what he was doing in the IPL, getting the ball early, and just yeah, Maxwell got the early wicket, then Hazelwood gets a wicket first ball, then from there South Africa never really got away. Mitchell Starc got two wickets, Glenn Maxwell 1 for 24 in 4 overs. Josh Hazelwood following on just his stunning IPL form, 4 overs, 2 for 19. To think a couple of years ago he was seen just as a test bowler. He's really worked on his skills and now excels at T20 cricket. Pat Cummins came into the match with a little bit of pressure on his shoulders. Some people were questioning whether he would be the bowler left out of this first match, but he delivered 4 overs, 1 for 17, and Adam Zampa 4 overs, 2 for 21. And for South Africa, Markram made 40 off 36, and they just never looked like getting away. They were lucky to get to 118. Rabada made 19 not out at the end, and yeah, 118 seemed to be just a really easy score. I mean, let's be honest. I think all the other teams would just walk that run chasing easily. So what happens? Finch gets out early, caught down at third man for a duck. And I firmly believe, unfortunately, Finch's best years are behind him in international cricket. And I think actually Steve Smith should take his spot at the top of the order soon. I think Smith would be a good opener in T20 cricket because of the fielding restrictions. He's a master at finding the gaps, and I think he could hit over the top and find the boundaries. Yeah, Finch just not convincing, so he was out for a duck. Then Warner out for 14, Mitchell Marsh 11. That left Australia 3 for 38, and at that point, it was a really a line ball thing. 8 overs had gone, and it looked like South Africa could pull off a miraculous effort and defend a very small total. Then Smith and Maxwell put on 42. So a good little partnership. But again, I've been criticised for maybe saying Smith shouldn't be in the T20 side. And again, here he made 35 off 34 deliveries. He didn't finish the game off. He got out to a good catch. He was unlucky, but still, if he's facing 34 balls, he should have at least another 5 or 10 more runs. But instead, he gets out, and then if Stoinis and Matthew Wade aren't good at the end, Australia lose that game. I mean, Stoinis made 24 off 16 and Matthew Wade 15 off 10. So Smith didn't finish the job. His strike rate wasn't high enough, and it was disappointing. And same with Maxwell, 18 off 21 deliveries. Took a bit too long to get going, and he got out to a shocking shot just when we actually probably needed him to stay there and not play sort of reverse sweep slog after we've just lost the wicket. So he gets out. Hard to criticise Maxwell because that's his game, but again, I just think Australia, and forget Smith or whatever, just generally, where's Australia's confidence? Where's Australia's positivity when you're going for a small total? Why did it take us till the last over? And then Stoinis and Wade at the end. Stoinis 24 not out, Wade 15 not out. So the little general did it. Both Stoinis and Wade had strike rates of 150. So I'm telling you, if you drop Steve Smith and put in Josh Inglis, this batting lineup could be totally different. Let's just bloody go for it. Let's bloody take the handbrake off. If we're going to keep playing this sort of brand of cricket throughout the World Cup, we are stuffed, gone, zilch. We'll get nothing. I mean, once we come up with a team in form, we'll be gone. I mean, if South Africa had made 10 or 15 more runs, we wouldn't have got them. If they'd made 130 on a good pitch, we wouldn't have got them. So I've hit the panic button because we came so close to losing that. What about the bowlers for South Africa? Rabada 1 for 28, Norkia, however you say it. Not sure. 2 for 21, Maharaj 1 for 23, and Shamsi 1 for 22. Look, I think both teams. I mean, I don't think either of these teams we saw tonight are going to be in the semi-finals. I mean, these are two losers. I mean, South Africa after that performance aren't going to do anything. And same with Australia. They're both bowling looks okay, but both teams batting looks desperately short. So what Australia have got? Who've Australia got later in the week? They've got. I think they're playing on Thursday or Friday. So I wonder if they will sort of rethink their strategy going into the next game. But anyway, they got the win. They scraped there with 2 balls to spare, and we've got an excellent game coming up with England v West Indies. All right, let's take these questions, Jose. Do you think number 3 is still the right spot for Mitch Marsh? I think you got to back him in. I think he's been the one shining light for Australia this year in T20 cricket. And although he didn't look great today and he didn't look great in the warm-up game, I mean, I'm always backing Mitch Marsh in. Maybe it's like a disease or something, because I do really like him as a cricketer, and I've always thought he was an unfulfilled talent. But yeah, I'm saying stick with Marsh at 3, and he provides that sort of other bowling option. If Maxwell or Stoinis start to get pasted, you've got Mitch Marsh. That's why he probably gets the nod over Smith. But yeah, again, every time I back Mitch Marsh, he goes through a spell of low scores. So who knows what's going to happen with him. Here we go. How much impact did the pitch have in this match? Was it more than players? Well, it's sort of hard to tell from Sydney because you just sort of see the pitch on the TV. But what Maxwell said, I think, after the first innings was it was a bit too paced. So I think we did see that. It probably was never a 170 T20 pitch. It was always going to be a 140, 150 pitch if you bat well. But I thought we saw 2 excellent attacks. I mean, Rabada, Nortje, and Shamsi against Hazelwood, Cummins, and Stark. That's 2 good attacks on maybe a 2-pace pitch. So I don't think the pitch had a huge effect. Like, it was 2 pretty poor performances with the bat. Yes, Chavan, I would like to see Smith open some stage in white ball cricket, maybe even 50 over cricket as well. People think I've got some anti-Smith campaign, but it's not that. It's just with the current balance of the side, I don't know if there's room for Smith. That's all. I really, yeah, and this is from, is Finch prepared to drop himself? Who knows? But as I said, I think we've seen the best of him. Should David Miller be in the side? Look, I haven't been following his form lately. He was a very powerful T20 player, but don't know how he's done international T20s. So yeah, just I guess a good start to the first match of the second phase of the T20 World Cup. A good victory for Australia. They sort of fell over the line. It feels like a bit like just kind of limped to the finish line. But anyway, we'll see if much more can happen for these 2 teams. I think we've seen early on that South Africa and Australia won't compete. But apart from that, I wonder how Ashton Agar's feeling. He probably thought he'd play a big part in this World Cup, but judging by that performance, we might not see Agar at all during this T20 World Cup. Australia might stick with this 3-pace bowling attack and the 1 spinner. So that's going to be a blow to him. I just wonder if they'll think about Inglis for the next game. Australia have to be adventurous. This was a conservative performance. I was looking on Twitter, and Dan Bredigan, the cricket journalist for The Age, he said the same thing. What were Australia doing chasing this target? Where were the sixes? Where was the aggression? Where was the bullying that Australia is so famous for? I mean, it's just we're just not a good side. We're just not a good side, and it's frustrating. And so, anyway, look, I've been getting so much shit about my Steve Smith take. Everyone thinks I'm anti-Steve Smith. I'm not anti-Steve Smith. I think he's the greatest batsman I've ever seen. But as I said, I just don't know if he's a... the chairman said good night. I'm probably going to watch a bit of the next game and then go to bed. Hard to go to bed when there's the World Cup on and it's a Saturday night in Australia, even though there's teenagers here somewhere probably. Anyway, look, I'm not anti-Steve Smith. I just think he's just strike rate's not. He's just not a T20. He's not good enough. He's ranked 96 in the world for T20 batsmen. I mean, Jay Lenton's up. Everyone's upset at me about this, but I'm just doing what I think's best for the team if I was picking it. And I don't know. Shane Warne said the same thing, and he knows a bit about cricket. So that's all I'm saying. Well, look, that was my summation of the game tonight. Yeah, I think overall, uh, what would I grade today's performance by Australia? Say if I'm giving me a letter grade, like A, B, C, maybe I'll do that for all the games. I think this is a C. It's a pass. It's you'd be probably marking Australia high because their attack bowled very well. But yeah, the batting was an F, a fail. So yeah, this is a C, sort of levels out at a C. So yeah, Australia starts with a C performance, but they got the win. They do say in these T20 tournaments that there is an art to kind of peaking at the right time. And although I think Australia's no chance of peaking, um, then if they are going to peak, they've got to win when they didn't play well. Now, can they build from this? And not convinced, but we'll see. So look, thanks for watching the late night manners reaction coming from my laundry, and I'll be back. Well, we're going to be recording a full podcast. Jaleesa and Paul are coming back in studio on Monday. Paul's had a terrible day on the punt, so who knows what state he's going to be in on Monday. So we're going to react to the show. We're going to react to the performances so far. So reading the comments and talking is never a good combination. But anyway, so yeah, we're going to be recording a full podcast on Monday. Then we'll be doing these YouTube lives throughout the World Cup. And yeah, so follow our YouTube page, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to Cricket Unfiltered. And look, if there's people that just think Jaleese is bullying me now with these sort of constant barrage of messages and sharing DMs, stand up for me. I need some support because Jaleesa is, releasing DMs. She's bringing out the big guns, and yeah, I'm not sure if it's fair. All righty, well, good night, everybody. Enjoy England versus West Indies.